But now that we've got some non-spoiler things out of the way, obviously we're not positive on this show whatsoever. Let's get into the things that we're most frustrated with, the things that we really didn't like, and I would dare say, what did we hate about this season 2 adaptation? Jed, I'll start with you.
We going like spoilers route now?
Absolutely. Spoiler ahead.
Spoilers. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle in, because I'm about to call me the Fire Nation. I'm about to say, call me the Fire Nation the way I'm about to flame these fools. All right. No, number one, characterization. I like Sokka the most. Why did they make him like an idiot in this live action versus like the tactical genius he is in the cartoon? I almost had to pause and like take a breath because of how much jokes they were making in the live action about how stupid he is and how like, oh, Sokka, you always make a plan and it never works. And then in the cartoon, he's always the guy with the plan. He's always the strategic mind. He's the one who, yeah, he may not be the bender, but he's the one who knows how to use everybody's strengths and weaknesses well enough to where they can execute together. Like, I would almost argue he's the glue of Team Avatar, because he's the one who's always thinking forward, always the one being ready for whatever is next, and even the one who is the comedic relief to a certain degree in the cartoon. And then you go to the live action, and he's some type of oaf. He's some type of like idiot that doesn't know how to make a plan, or he does and nobody believes in him. I hated that so much. I was like, where is this disrespect for my boy Sokka coming from? How dare you?
Well, that's the thing. They really screwed up his character. And when I rewatch book 2, obviously, yes, this is a show geared towards kids. So you're going to have the moments that are very silly, meant to be comedic. But there's also a level of maturity that Sokka has and he develops throughout book 2. Because like you said, he is the growing strategist. And a big plot line for him throughout season 1, book 1 and book 2 in the animated show is how much he wants to prove his dad that he is a man, that he was trustworthy to watch over
the Northern Water Tribe. Or Southern Water Tribe.
Their Southern Water Tribe, right?
Yeah, Southern.
And unfortunately, you don't get that payoff in this season. Because animated show, it's back-ended with Sokka meeting his dad and proving himself to be a strategist. And there's even a moment of doubt that he has with his dad when they see that the Fire Nation is nearby and they're gonna commandeer one of their ships. He's like, okay, well, what do you want me to do? Then Sokka's dad, he says, didn't you hear me? I said, men, suit up and let's go and execute the mission that they've been planning on, which he's involved in. So you don't get that payoff, that there's that level of affirmation, that level of fulfillment and validation is the word that I was looking for, that Sokka gets from his dad, that yes, he is the man that he was trying so hard to be, and sometimes he fell on his face. But that's obviously what makes an interesting character. And then the second point that I had about Sokka was there's like no romance and love in the show. Him and Suki, they don't consummate their relationship at all in the live action. And I'm not meaning actual sex, but they don't kiss. And Sokka, he's moping around for half the season, so hung up on Yue. And again, we are comparing it to the animated show that did it very well. He's so heartbroken with Yue. And when they have that moment in the animated series where he meets Suki again, he owns up and says that he had his heart broken by something that happened with the Northern Water Tribe, because she tries to go in for a kiss and affection, but he pulls back.
Like Sokka like backs up and like then that's I don't mean to interrupt, but that whole thing about Sokka moping around like every single episode about it and then being like, I don't know, like should I attack? Like what am I supposed to do? I kind of didn't like it when they did that, because it felt like, oh, this is their obligatory mental health matters and talk to people when you like really need help or something like that. I didn't like it. Okay, but hold on before you flame me in the comments. All right, I do support therapy. I do think mental health matters and that kind of thing, but the execution of it, I did not like at all. I think that potentially a better character to have done that with is potentially Zuko and Azula when they talk about their mom. Like, I think that was a much more deserving subject of having to, you know, explore the mental health. I mean, he has a physical manifestation of his trauma on his face from his dad, but instead they decided to go make it with Sokka, who's supposed to be the lighthearted brains of Team Avatar, but now he has this whole thing that he can't talk to Suki with, or he can't talk to Kataro with, or something like that. And it just was so blatantly like in your face, and you could see it coming from a mile away. And him and Suki was trying her best to be great, which, you know, hey, I remember my feelings about Suki in the first season, but, you know, we're all good now. Like, it was too obvious for me that it was becoming like an issue, and I don't like how that is executed in some media nowadays. Of like, yes, we know this whole topic is important and it's valid, but you don't need to be so brazenly outright about it. And it just Sokka the whole thing with Sokka just really.
Well, not only that, because let me do some Q&A with you, Jed. Pop quiz.
Yes.
So Serpent's Pass is episode 1 in season 2 live action.
Yeah.
Now, in the animated show, I won't grill you on how many episodes there are. There are 18 episodes in the animated show.
Yeah.
What episode number do you think Serpent's Way was in the animated show?
What episode? Like, which in the 18?
Out of 18, yeah.
3.
Episode 12.
12. Oh, shoot.
So by the time you get to that point in the animated show, you're more than halfway through the series.
Oh, okay.
So what happens is they recontextualize the events, that you don't see Sokka being built up as a character from episodes 1 through 11 like you did in the animated show. And then there are plenty of violations that I'll get here in a bit with Serpent's Pass.
Yeah.
But when the moment he meets Suki, he's obviously had time to think about and wrestle with losing Yue in the animated show.
Okay.
But then he still has that moment of drawback with Suki. So Sokka, in the live action show, when he meets Suki, he doesn't tell her about what he's feeling with Yue. He's a coward in that whole interaction. And then when you see it at the end of the show, he meets Suki again, and then he kisses her because they have that whole interaction about how she's going back to be with the Kyoshi warriors. But then he kisses her to affirm their actual relationship, because he's still struggling with letting her be a strong woman, but not protecting her in a way that disvalues her training. Right. So it's a really unfortunate interaction that happens with Sokka. And then even more so when you get to the library, he's not the one who figures out the Day of Black Sun. He's not the one who figures out all the strategical advantages that the rebellion can have against the Fire Nation. It's Toph who figures it out. It's Sai who figures it out. So they take away moments from Sokka and give it to other characters that basically don't need to have that moment at all. Go ahead.
But, well, on that point about the spiritual library, they were just given the answers. There was no figuring it out. There was no working the thing to